Hello everybody, welcome to Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. Trying to hit 50k subscribers over here, so that would be much appreciated. I wanted to talk about John Wall today because he recently officially announced his retirement. Now, it's been a couple of years since he has been in the NBA, and as far as I'm aware, he doesn't have any kind of overseas action. His last year was with the Clippers as a backup in 2023, where he averaged 11 points and 5 assists, but the efficiency was absolutely brutal. And this is obviously a career that was just derailed by injuries because before he had a more injury riddled 2017-18 season that was followed by another injury riddled season after that at the age of 28, followed by, I believe, him tearing his Achilles by slipping in the bathtub, which is absolutely tragic. He just couldn't really get back on top because his athleticism and his speed was not quite what it was, and that made the already noteworthy limitations to his game all the louder. John Wall, at his absolute peak, is one of my favorite players of all time. In fact, one of the first major hot takes that I ever put out into the world was that I thought he was going to win, or at least have a very strong chance of winning MVP in the 2017-18 season, because in the 2016-17 season, which is really 15-16 or 14-15 is when I started paying really close attention to the NBA, like religiously. And at that point, I started to be a John Wall fan. Then I really started to like him in 2016. And then this 2016-17 season, 23 points per game, 10.7 assists, 4.1 turnovers. Not the best assist to turnover ratio in the world, but still a good one. 2 steals as well. He's also a pretty goddamn good shot blocker as a point guard. For his career, he averages 0.7 blocks per game. Never been particularly good. And that's an interesting thing to me. Like, his archetype of player has regularly struggled with that. Like, you think of Russell Westbrook, you think of Derrick Rose, you think of Ja Morant, like these incredibly freakishly athletic little guys, but like no matter how athletic and like the case of Russell Westbrook and John Wall, like definitely bigger bodies, you still have to take a lot of jump shots as a guard in the NBA, and none of those guys have had a particularly good one. Ranking who is best and worst of that would be like ranking different levels of smell on turds. They just could not shoot the ball whatsoever. I don't know where that metaphor came from. It's been a couple of days since I recorded, so forgive me. I also not an advocate for the double-digit assist average. I've always been one to kind of been like, yeah, double-digit assist averaging that isn't actually good because literally only Magic Johnson has ever done that at a championship level. But the Wizards by no means had any kind of championship level expectation. I thought they could have going into 2017 because they had their best year in this John Wall, Bradley Beal era. They won 49 games and finished 4th in the Eastern Conference, and they went to 7 games against the Boston Celtics in round 2, losing game 7 by 10 points. But in that series, man, his efficiency was god-awful, but he averaged 25 points, 10 assists, and then 1.7 steals and 1.6 blocks. I imagine that's partially a product of him guarding Isaiah Thomas. Good for a block extra per game just by guarding him. But like damn near an Eastern Conference Finals team, one that would have got washed by the Cleveland Cavaliers as the Boston Celtics did, but nevertheless a good-ass team and very nearly a conference finals team. In fact, I could be mistaken. I think John Wall hit a game winner in that series. I do not know 100% sure, but I believe that happened. And in the Atlanta Hawks first round series, I remembered him going off. Good God, did he. 29.5 points per game, 10.3 assists, 1.7 steals, 0.7 blocks, 52% from the field, 47% went 9 for 19 on his 3-pointers. Bradley Beal also averaged 26 points per game. Like, this was never a team that was particularly stacked, but John Wall and Bradley Beal were genuinely great as an offensive duo because John could do the slashing and the playmaking, and Bradley Beal was more of a three-point shooter, outside scoring option. He was more adept in that particular era by contrast to John, and I liked that duo quite a bit. I never really saw them as having true championship aspirations, but I thought going into that 2018 season, they could be a conference finals team, and John could have a chance at MVP because he did finish 7th that season. Alas, that did not happen, and his career kind of derailed from there. I do remember there being a good amount of pushback for the fact that he did not get a real opportunity following his time in Houston in 2021. This is pretty soon, I think directly actually after James Harden has asked out. I think he even played with James Harden for just a super brief amount of time at the top of the year. I mean, he got his counting stats. He got up to 20.7 assists, 1.1 steals, 0.8 blocks. Also is actually really surprising considering his athleticism did show noticeable decline, but 40% from the field, 31% from three. Guy's just never been a good shooter, and when his athleticism was not there, just completely lost it. But at his absolute peak, one of the best defensive guards in the NBA. He made an all defensive third team in all defensive second team rather in 2015. And then, like I said, multiple time All-Star 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finished second in Rookie of the Year voting in 2011 to Blake Griffin. That wasn't, there was no shot you were going to beat Blake Griffin that year, so that's completely fair. But yeah, John Wall's one of my favorite players ever. Excellent defender, excellent playmaker, really, really excellent slasher. In fact, let me go ahead and look at his shooting numbers at the rim specifically. I imagine his percentage, yeah, isn't amazing, but the volume is super high. For his career, 32% of his shots coming right at the basket. For the last 3 years specifically, he had 61% from the field with 36% of his shots coming right at the rim. Yeah, John Wall was good, and I wanted to talk about him because he was a pretty pivotal player early on into my NBA fandom. I liked him a lot, and I'm sad to see that he is done, but it was obvious. Like, it's not like this is a retirement where we're like, wait, no, you have so much more left in the tank. It was pretty clear after his Clippers tenure that he just really did not have it. But he recently put out on social media, today I'm stepping off of the court, but not away from the game. Basketball will always be in my life as new opportunities present themselves. I feel now is the time to walk confidently into my next chapter. I do imagine he is implying coaching in some capacity there. Maybe not at the NBA level, but that would be interesting to see. But yeah, apparently he is also their leader in total assists with 5,228, the Washington Wizards, that is, and steals with 976, and he is fourth in points behind Elvin Hayes, Jeff Malone, and Bradley Beal. So yeah, shout out to John Wall. I hope he has a good post-NBA career. There's a related article about him doing a broadcasting debut in recently. So maybe broadcasting is the route that he's going to go. All right, well, I said my piece. John Wall's dope. John Wall was cool. I miss John Wall being in the NBA. And goodbye.